Mm.
So talk to us a little bit, Pamela, about your journey going from CNE novice to CNE and what helped you make the decision to go ahead and jump in and start with a CNE novice.
Sure. So I have spent most of my career in the hospital setting. I entered academia about 5 years ago. I've always been one that, for myself, and because I think I'm a perfectionist and I'm not in reality, but my mind tells me I am, I always strive for higher for myself. So when I came into academia, I didn't know anything about the nose theory. I didn't know anything about how to teach students. All I know is that I was a good nurse, a good administrator, and I could share my story. My mom, being a school teacher for over 50 years, always wanted me to be an instructor. And I said, no, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a nurse. So I went into being a nurse, went through the whole realm of open heart and going from there, getting really kind of pushed into leadership by one of the surgeons. And from there, spent the last 20 years prior to his maybe 30 into administration and cardiovascular. So when I joined the academic area, I did it first in COVID because I was finishing my doctorate degree. We all got kicked out of our clinical sites. We had to do an integrated study, which is kind of, I'd rather have done my project. But did that and accomplished it. And I said, okay, now what are you going to do? I'm at the later stage of my career, but I'm not finished yet. I wanted to be kind of safe. So I'm like, well, I like teaching and let's do that. So I joined academia. At Galen School of Nursing, where I teach, they have a periphery of courses you can take, courses beyond your scheduled hours. There's no incentive for it, but they had a series for Teaching Learning Academy. And in that series, took all the four series. Actually, I'm in my last class coming this term to complete four series of three courses in each series. I learned about the teaching theories. I learned about a curriculum and how you crosswalk it with your outcomes and how the program outcomes then um, go to the unit, not the unit, but the class outcomes, and then to the daily outcomes. At the same time, I then joined the weekly boot camps. And I didn't join it in a quest for doing the certification. I joined it just to learn more. So
Mm.
in the boot camps, you had mentioned about the CNEn course that you offered. I signed up for that course. And at the same time, the NLN was doing a pilot for anyone that hadn't been an educator for 5 years, and I had only a couple years at that time. You could apply, and I've taken certification courses before, and I know what they cost. I know what the certification costs, and it was only, I think it was $75. And I'm like, you know what? Whether I know it or not, for $75, I'm paying for it, and I'm going to go for it. So I went into one of your courses for the review for the CNEn. I did not follow the program exactly and did not do all my homework. Everything we tell our students to do: read the book, make sure you put your study time in, put it on your schedule. And I was doing parts of it, but I never fully embraced it. Fortunately for me, I did pass the CNN, a novice, and I maintained that for, I think it was 3 years versus the 5 year.
Mhm.
So as we were coming up to renew, I thought my renewal was in February. So I took the second review course. The first one I took with you was online. I purchased the package and was working it that way. This time I took the live one. And
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm going for the CNEn. I want to take the live course. I showed up for the courses, did everything that I thought I needed to do. Not totally. I still like fudged on some stuff. When I say fudge, not cheating, but didn't do my schedule and follow the plan, the number of hours you tell us to spend for each subject. I did do my assessment of the competencies and where I was, and I had big gaps there. So I knew I needed to take care of it. I'm going to end the story soon. So I did everything that I was supposed to do. And I took your review course. The day before the test, I said, I'm gonna back up one moment. I thought I was doing February, but it wasn't. It wasn't until December. So when I signed up initially, I had to schedule myself, and it was toward the end of your class. And then I went back and read the fine print, and they say you get one chance to reschedule for $50. I knew I needed that extra time. So I paid the $50 to NLN, got it extended for, I think it was a 3 month period, but I put in for a new date. The day before, I was studying diligently and reviewing everything, still showing up for the courses and the boot camp. And sometimes I felt real comfortable on our boot camp. And sometimes, you do the pop up questions. I'm like, dang, I get that wrong. How did I get that wrong? But it's okay. like you tell your students, you don't have to get every question right. But again, that perfectionist in me is in my head. So the day before, I said, I am not going to study. I'm going to have dinner, go to bed at 7 o'clock. And I didn't do that. I picked up another tool and started reviewing that tool. And I think I went to bed about 1 o'clock. I did do a drive through the day before to make sure I was going to the right place. And I'm glad I did that because where I thought it was not. But I found the place. I went in there ahead of time, says, this is where you come and take the test. She's like, yes, this is where you are tomorrow. So I showed up on time and I took the exam. So I knew that when I took state boards, which we call NCLEX now, we used to wait 6 months before we get our results. And if you failed it, you had to wait another 6 months to get it. But I knew that the new testing was like immediate, that you would know something. So they let you get up and take one break. I got up to take one break. I had finished everything, and you can also mark the questions that you want to come back to. So I said, this is a good time. I've answered everything. Let me go to the bathroom, wash my face, just refresh. And when I came back and she put me back at my course, I said, am I going to know if I pass or not today, or is it going to come in the email to me? She said, no, when you come out to me, we'll
Mhm.
tell you if you pass or fail. I said, great. So I looked over those questions that I had questions about. Some I changed and some I did not. And then when I shut it down to go back out to her, all of a sudden it said, "Bing, you did it." I'm like, "Yay, I got it!" So I was so happy. And if it wasn't for the instructions that you gave, if it wasn't for the tools that were really good to use, the time frame, the schedule, and the amount of time, and even if you didn't perfect it like I didn't all the way to a T, it was very instrumental. The weekly boot camps was also very instrumental, and also being able to go back on the YouTube postings that you put up. So my areas of gap, I would look on that index you gave us and find those actual postings and review those and look at it. So I am just so satisfied. I've only been in academia. It'll be 5 years in February. And I'm very pleased with myself. I'm very pleased with the accomplishments. And now I'm on my next goal. We have a leadership acronym, that's what it's called, series. So
Mhm.
when I'm done with this series this next term, I'm going into the leadership acronym series to just continue my plight.
That is awesome. Round of applause for
Yeah.
Pamela.
Thank you.
I love your journey. It really speaks to the possibilities that you can achieve when you have the support, the consistent support as you kind of navigate your way. As you mentioned, maybe because of time, competing priorities, you weren't able to follow the script to the exact T. However, you did enough to achieve that passing score on CNE Novice and CNE. So, round of applause. So super happy for you. Thank you for sharing. All right. I love